It's time to go!
Good evening, fellow Manchester United fan all around the world. Welcome to MUFC Realist TV. I'm your host, Mick Ruby. This channel was formed 3-4 years ago on the back end of the Liverpool protest. Today, we are gathered to yet again promote a biggest protest that will ever take place on the 9th of March. We're talking about Manchester United versus Arsenal. In the studio tonight we have the 1958, we have Steve from the 1958. We also have Andy Tate, a legendary match-going fan. Before we continue the show, there's one thing you could do to support this channel, support 1958. Smash that like button. Let's get up to minimum 100 likes. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Let's go. Let's do this. Are you ready? Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go, people. Welcome to MUFC Realist TV, and big warm welcome for the 1958 Steve and also Andy Tate, my honorable guest. How you doing, Steve? How's it going?
Very well. Yourself?
Not too bad. I always ask the question for everyone that comes on the show: how do you feel to be a Man United supporter this time of the hour?
Miserable. It's coming from every direction now, isn't it? It's coming from above, from the owners on the pitch. It's just an absolute mess, mate.
Yeah. How about you, Andy? How do you feel?
Just numb to it, I suppose. It's the only way to block it out. Everything's going down with a club. You seek enjoyment in other things in life, like taking a walk for a start.
Yeah, no, we've been beaten from pillar to post. From stacking, from the initial announcement of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, and they changing the shares to Trawlers Limited over to Ineos as an asset and everything else, and the cost cutting, the ticketing price. But anyway, we're here to talk about the protest, and I'm going to pass over to Steve. What's going on the 9th, and you talk a little bit about the protest, and how people can get involved, Steve.
Yeah, well, we're meeting at the tollgate, outside the tollgate pub on Talbot Road at 3 o'clock. And then we'll head down Talbot Road, cut up then to Old Trafford, and then we'll be down the Munich Tunnel and round the ground. Everything's in place, everything's ready. Police are informed, so we're good to go now. We just need fans behind us. It's as simple as that. People need to. There's enough reasons, I think, now for fans to be angry and want to make a stand.
Yeah, why now? What? I mean, the protest's been silenced for quite a while since Sir Jim Ratcliffe took over the Ineos. But why now? Was it because we gave them a little bit of a benefit of doubt to see what they will do within this 1 year period?
Well, I think everybody, whether it was false hope, but we all had that bit of hope. Okay, there's a crack in the Glazers' armour here when Jim took his partial shares. Unfortunately, I would say, from a personal point of view, we're no better off. Potentially a little bit worse off. But, it's at the point, there was no point at the time, there was no point in sort of putting anything together when you've got to you got to have a look what these people are up to. Give them the time. I suppose really, being realistic, the time framing should have been August this year when the share price freezes up, and the somebody, be it Ineos or whoever, and this is based on the Glazers wanting to sell the shares, but something concrete could be done then. But I think the feedback we were getting both on match days and via our website was people just had enough. It's the football shit, the ticket price increases, the removal of concessions. It's just one bad thing after another, and it's like, what, enough's enough. We need to get boots on the ground.
Yeah. Andy, what's your take? What do you think? Why now? Is it perfect time right now? If you've seen the financial reports, we made a little bit of a profit, but we've been losing money for the past consecutive 4 years in a row.
I think we've been losing money since 2005, mate. That's the best thing. And they've not spent any of their money. They've used the club's money. They've taken the club's money and leveraged everything. And the last 6-7 months is bad decisions have been made on and off the pitch. And it's just it's heartbreaking to see. It's heartbreaking to see. So like you could say we had a give Ineos the benefit of the doubt. We had a good transfer summer. Then it's sort of all that stuff going for Dan Ashworth, keeping Ten Hag. Then it sort of snowballed out of control since when we sacked him. Then we got rid of Dan Ashworth, paid the money out, the sneakiness of the ticket increases, and nothing in the media, just on the website. One day, I remember when it happened.
Yeah.
Looking at games on a Monday, £40. Wednesday, bang, just like that. Hand grenade, no announcement, £6, and everyone kicking off. And just what do we get from Omar Barada? A sneaky little email. And this is the way they will operate now, with the future and the fear of ticket prices. They'll sneak it out in a sneaky email. They won't, and there'll be nothing announced in the mainstream media, because the media, Ineos, they have a certain benefit because Jim Ratcliffe's our homeboy. He's a homie from Failsworth. He just doesn't get it, mate. I mean, to say we should be paying the same as Fulham.
No, I followed the finances as always been doing. For me, I did a video called Rest in Peace Manchester United about 2.5 months ago and got absolutely pelted for it. But now everyone is reporting on it. For me, it was clear and obvious that, the Ineos or Sir Jim Ratcliffe is kind of like a shop front, basically, to ease off the pressure of the Glazer, the ownership, right? So he was pretty much appointed as the janitor, in my opinion. Why would you give 1.2 billion out of your own pocket without expecting any return on investment? It's unprecedented. I don't believe it, And they're talking about the overarching project regeneration. For me, it's always been about the land bank assets around, Old Trafford and Carrington, and looking at gas pockets, the PDL 125, which is owned by Ineos. So everything is about assets at the end of the day. If you pay attention where Ratcliffe did an interview prior to actually with the Glazers went out for that Thanksgiving to announce the strategical review. They did an Ineos interview. I think it was on Forbes. I don't remember, but he clearly mentioned that the biggest correlation of success in sport is money, and also what he said, we always look to have an asset in the Premier League. So basically, you can go back to that and listen that he says asset. So basically, it doesn't seem to me like 1 year in the making, Steve and Andy, that they're being appointed as the janitor to clean up the mess, but it's too much all of a sudden. Everything has been marginal gains. Like, what is marginal gains? I look at them. What experience do you have to run a football club? None, right? Just look at Nice. Look at every other sort of sporting venture that's been involved. It's just been a disaster. You know what I mean? And today I see Ruben Amorim coming out and making another statement that, you know, the future looks very dark at the moment with these players and everything. I'm not sure I'm going to be here, but, you know, we're going to turn the page. And I was going, what the hell? It seems like none of these players or the manager seems that they're buying into the Ineos sporting vision and what they want to do. Steve, your thoughts?
Do you know what, with that, I mean, I work in sales and marketing, and if somebody turned around to me and said, Steve, we're going to relook at everything you do. What we're going to do is, your product's quite shit at the minute, but what we're going to do is hike the prices up and still sell your shit product. But hopefully, if we sell enough of that shit product, we'll be able to make it better. Do you know what I mean? So there's no, to me, the commercials. I mean, Man United back in the day, they revolutionised commercialism in football. It's fact, and you know they for many years, and I think that's what the Glazers saw as their golden egg. But what they failed to see, and what they've run into the ground, is the actual product that attracts sponsors and brings that money in. They've let it drop off so bad. You know, they're signing players for commercial value, for shirt sales, bringing Ronaldo back. Fucking crazy, absolute crazy. You know, you look at the signings, all these older players, but they're a name, so they'll sell a shirt. And it's been, to me, it's been absolute suicide. But here we are now, and we've got Ineos in here trying to mop up and do what they can do with things. But I just think it's going to happen too slowly. You know, the football's dying in front of our eyes. But you know, the football's dying in front of our eyes, and then fans are being penalised for it. And fans won't put up with that. They won't put up with it.
You mentioned something very interesting where you said products, and this is quite evidential where I see it, is that they see players as a product, as a commodity, which is sort of an asset at the end of the day. We've seen that the recruitment model is to bring in up-and-coming players. And that's telling me that, are we going to challenge within the 2028 when Omar Barada came out and made a statement that, you know, the finishing statement regarding the cost cuts and stuff like that. He said, we will continue to provide world-class service to our partners and sponsors, but nothing about the fans. So not on a, and that's what I was thinking, but excuse me, your debt is not ours. Like, we are the product. We, the fans, are the ones that are coming and actually giving you the revenue. You know what I mean? And the products are the players. So if you're not going to go and invest in, you can have a sort of a mixed strategy of getting the up-and-coming players, but you need to have some experienced players also, right? So I don't see us challenging in 2028 with this Brighton model, the way they're kind of referring to.
I've got some mates that are quite well connected at City, and when it was announced, well, it wasn't when it was announced, it's quite a bit after, and they just laughed. They said, you know what, you're welcome to him. He's the biggest tosspot on the planet, and all he's interested in is commercialism. So what they're doing, again, to me, doesn't feel like it's any different. And what I don't understand is that what everybody's forgetting about is that apparently Ineos were coming in to run the sporting side of the business. None of this is to do with the sporting side of business. Because, this is all about finance, and it's all about the commercial side. If we're going to judge them on what they've done on the sporting side of business, then fucking hell, it's horrendous.
Yeah, true that. I mean, we mentioned something about, we were promised a better communications. Like, they were in the beginning when Ineos came over, they were very happy in the media to go out and speak. But nowadays, it's what Andy said, no communication. It just comes out that decision made on the website. And yet again, they utilizing Ruben Amorim to do more press conferences, speaking a scripted speech. Yeah. And this rinse wash exactly what we spoke before when live stream, Steve. So again, does it feel like anything has changed, Steve?
No, absolutely not. Not to me anyway. and you know it's just wherever you turn, it's doom and gloom, isn't it? And you know, this I can't even start to imagine what it must feel like to be working for the club, let alone playing football for them. You know what I mean? With all these redundancies, and there's some very good people have lost their jobs. You know, very capable people, but it's all right to make the mistake of keeping Ten Hag on, give him a new contract, pay him off, pay to get Amarin in, as you mentioned, Dan Ashworth, pay to get him in, and then months later bin him off as well. You know, that's and it doesn't fill you with confidence, does it? Yeah, doesn't fill you with confidence at all.
No, I just coming into when you talk about people and culture, like, you know, especially what you said there, like, you know, you are creating a more toxic environment. And regarding, of course, you sacked already like, you know, 400 staff around Carrington, Mayfair. And what kind of message are you sending? Like, you know, so you're going to pay for Glazer's mistake, you know, and how much is that going to save you? 800 plus you're going to add on the severance package that you're going to pay out. So you're not going to save much, right? So this is what I see, marginal gains. But in terms of culture, what you want to sort of do, a cultural reset or cultural shape, there's no way you're going to get loyalty, you know, when people don't even know, like, you know, can I even speak loudly? Should I bring my own tea bags? Should I, you know, flush the toilet? Forget about number one. Let's Andy come in and use it again and flush it number two.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Bring your own toilet roll. That's what they'll be asking their fans next. Bring your own toilet rolls, because we're out of toilet. We're out of toilet roll for the Arsenal game on Sunday.
Let's continue with the protest, like, you know, guys. Of course, what's in your experience, Steve? Like, you know, we tried it all. You know, we boycotted. You know, we didn't buy the merchandise. We walked out. We had protests. We had game stops. In your opinion, what is the most tangible and effective action? You know,
It's. I mean, we've got feet on ground protest, which visually, now I know certainly with the online fan base, it's, you know, that there's a lot of criticism that these don't work. But, you know, I've sat with Richard Arnold in the infamous pub meeting, and he actually told us that you know, that protests do work. It damages the image. It damages, you know, whether that's an online protest. You know, sponsors don't want to go near any of that toxicity. So, you know, as a starting point, let's see. And what you got to remember as well, Mick, is that the 1958 we facilitate protests. You know, it's down to fans then to get involved, and
exactly,
you know, whether that's sharing it online. Or actually being, I know quite a few people who aren't going to the game on Sunday, but they're coming to the protest. So it feels like it's going to be a big movement. So, you know, let's wait and see. But, you know, I think it's you know, I mentioned it last night somewhere else, that, you know, a lot of people come to the football on their own, and they meet up with the mates or the people that they've known for years at the football. And there's also these people, they're not in a bubble at home that people are into football. So they're kind of dealing with all this shit and this stress and uncertainty on their own till they get to a game. And I think sometimes, you know, that meeting up with thousands of other like-minded Reds and just voicing your opinions and, you know, letting it all out, it does people good. So, you know, it's as much about everybody getting together and showing that solidarity as it is, you know, it's just needed, you know. For me, it's just
100%.
Absolutely the right time now. It is, you know,
it is the right time.
Sometimes this club means a lot to a lot of people, and it's the only thing they've got in their lives. It keeps them going forward and keeps them motivated. Like, last few years, this club has kept me going, but now it's say there's a lot of United fans prepared to walk away, and a generation's gonna die. A generation will never be born. My dad gave me give me access to United when I was a kid. Give me a videotape. Watch this. This is why you're a Red. And I used to feel part of a family. I used to feel part of a family. We complete strangers in a moment of excitement, in them dark times when we've lost games as well. You still won. But in the last 10 years, everybody has turned on each other. The club, it plays into their hands. Everyone has turned on each other going forward. But this club is now, I know friends who are prepared to walk away next season. Maybe even met people in my family, So I don't know what's the future holds in the next month or so with that renewal date. But yeah, people might have to change their ways next season. We'll always be Reds, but you might not be in the stadium. You might be listening to it on the radio.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, we all live for it's kind of the escapism. Like, everyone works, like you said, you work in sales and marketing, Andy, you work shifts. And, it's kind of, you're looking forward for the weekend game or mid game or, that's the escapism. And it's always the hope that kills you, right? But it's a calamity. So the most effective, in my opinion, was the May 5th, 2021, when you stopped the game against Liverpool. That was the most effective. And basically, you can do it, civilized. You don't have to use force or anything like that. You can go to the Lowry Hotel, stop the coach, stop the bus, those kind of things. But I think that the biggest problem is being to unify the entire fan base, because everyone has, if you look at fellow content creators, I've been reaching out to them multiple occasions. Let's do this together. Nobody gets back to me. You know what I mean? I did 2 live streams covering the live protests, sent out the link to people that want to come in. Just call in, do it like a protest watch along. But I think also what you mentioned is most important thing is the attraction of mainstream media is also, and to sort of streamline the process, because the way I look at United is a global fan base. We have fan base in US, we have fan base in Southeast Asia, everywhere, So why can't we just go out to, let's say, Florida, where the Glazers have the headquarters, have a massive protest there as well?
It's funny you say that. We've had conversations with a couple of supporters clubs over in the States, literally a day or so ago, and we're looking at options over there. We've recently, literally today, and I just have not had time to get back to them yet, but I promise I will do. And the name, the name of the channel, it's completely slipped my mind, but it's an Asian channel. They got about 35,000 followers on Instagram, so it's quite a big channel. And when I think there seems to be a common misconception where we don't want to work with certain people. What we won't do is go hand in cap asking people to come and work with us. And we've, like these guys over in Asia, the guys in America, they've all reached out to us. We've had conversations, and now we're talking about what we can do moving forward. And we will have that conversation. Like yourself, Mick, I've done it. I've sat and listened to conversations, and I've been part of conversations, certainly on Twitter and social media.
Yeah, Twitter Spaces, and
And it's a shame that the fan base. It seems to be people get more pleasure from arguing than being united. And sadly, the club love that. It's exactly what they want. Because when you've got 4 or 5 different segments screaming 4 or 5 different messages, guess what? Nothing gets put into action. Therefore, the club have got nothing to worry about. But we are dealing with. I mean, we've changed our approach. When the 58 first started, it was all hell broke loose. Let's piss off as many people as we can, and create some traction. And since then, that approach has changed. We're now, like with yourself, with the Stretford Paddock. I have had conversations with Mark Goldbridge, and there's anybody on any channel. I've happily had conversations. It might not be a case of were on the shows or things like that. But to have dialogue and, you know, to agree to disagree, I suppose, on some aspects of things. But at the end of the day, when you can sit down and, do you know what? Well, yeah, for now, we've got an issue. That's the King Glazers and where we're stuck as a club. And, you know, let's try and deal with that head on. But still, you know, there are social media outlets that are still hell bent on the empty Old Trafford and things. And, you know, you touched on something earlier, and it actually made me chuckle a bit, where you said you could legally or peacefully do something like the European Super League protest and sort of get a game abandoned. Let me tell you now, mate, you can't. That's never happening. It's not possible. You know, we've had people, there's 47 or so arrests where 3 o'clock in the morning, they're getting the doors kicked in and people are getting tugged out and dragged off and arrested. I've witnessed when, in fact, ironically, one time was the protest that you covered, the Villa one, and we stopped in the tunnel, and we the idea was, I think we were staying out for, I think it was 18 minutes, whatever it was. But what that did was it created sort of a backlog of fans trying to get into the ground. And one of the lads at the front who was protesting was actually smacked in the face by somebody desperate to get to his seat.
Yes, that's the problem.
So
that's the problem. Like
the you know, the empathy within this fan base is off the charts. And again,
I know
the club love it. They thrive on it.
I know, and that's the problem for me. That's the problem for me, because even if you abandon your season ticket holder, there's going to be another one taking that, and even if you don't go to the match, tourists will come in and have the whole experience. Which is, in my opinion, this is the way they want to go. They want to abandon all the season ticket holders. They want to hike up the price just to make as much cash as possible.
Season ticket holder pays less for a ticket for a start, so you know, there's 50,000 times a few quid per game. It all adds up, but you know, it's you know, it's this. You still get it now, and I don't even comment anymore. This empty Old Trafford thing. It will. Anybody that goes to Old Trafford, Andy knows this, and this is not being disrespectful to your more of your, we'll call them day trip as opposed to legacy fans. So your legacy fan is somebody who's there week in, week out. A day tripper fan is somebody that will save up, maybe do a bit of corporate. You know, great. I've got no issue with the corporate side of football, but there's room for both. And you know, the one thing you know, the broadcasting rights for the Premier League are worth something like 12 billion quid over a 3-year period. But what they sell is the very thing that the clubs are trying to break, which is the atmosphere. You know, so they kind of they're shooting themselves in the foot. In my view, it's all very short term. It doesn't make any sense. But you've got to keep that hardcore fan base that'll be there through thick and thin. You know, they won't be the fans booing players when they're getting subbed off. That, you know, a legacy fan, that would never happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, these what the clubs are doing, and it's not just at United, it's happening all over, but by these rising ticket prices, the legacy fans, as you know, you get to a point where it's like, I mean, everybody I know, we're all already having these conversations. Well, you know, I'll wait and see what the prices go up by, because trust me, the ticket prices are going up next year. It's a fact. By what? Nobody knows yet. But everybody is, well, I'm going to see what they go up to before I decide if I'm bothering next year. And it's, you know, to me, that fan culture, the very thing that sort of football, you know, it's what it was all about, a community asset. You know, it brought people together, your working class people. They're trying the very damnedest to take it away from them very people, which is a crying shame. But
I seen an article last week. West Ham United have lost 29,000 season ticket holders since moving to that Olympic Stadium.
Yeah,
29,000 season ticket holders, because nobody is interested.
Yeah. So I see that since the protest is localized, like, I was floating with the idea to fly over, and to participate, but it's a long flight, and the way I can contribute is I'm thinking like to do it globalized. I've been always floating that idea, to come together. You mentioned you got massive fan channels like Allbridge, 2 million followers. Why can't we just, I've been floating the idea, I've been sending in the messages, but nobody responding. Why can't we just do one joint stream and just broadcast it, like, you know what I mean, as an amplifier?
One word, Mick: ego. What's in it for me? That's what certain individuals are for. That's what they're seeking to gain. What's in it for me if I participate in this?
Yeah.
And,
I'm going to show you.
It's the same for each individual out there in each channel.
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it on the 9th. We're going to do it on the 9th. I'm just going to add a clip to a little bit of flashback memory.
All I know is Glazers gonna die. Gonna die. It's gonna die. Joe Glazer's gonna die. How we kill him, I don't know. Cut him up from head to toe. Glazers.
Message is clear.
Yeah, message clear. This was back in 2023. That was the last one we did. So I urge everyone, if you're a content creator, if you have a channel, please reach out to me as well. Guys, I'm happy to do a co-stream. Let's get it all together. Even if we can do some fundraising for the 1958, because in my opinion, you're the only ones doing something, right? And that leads me to one voice. And currently, I look at MUST, Manchester United Supporter Trust, what are you talking about? You're the only ones that are taking action, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some dialogue recently with MUST, and if they do the talking with the club, they're under strict NDAs from the when they anything to do with the fan advisory board. That's not just Man United, that's across football. That's that's just the way it is. It doesn't help anybody when the club never communicate anything with anyone. So and we met with the club. We met with Rick McGar and Colette Roach, and they openly admitted that the way we communicate with fans, it's not good enough. It's not transparent enough. But yet here we still are, and nothing's changed. The Glazers promised after the European Super League debacle that they would, the communication will be there. Ratcliffe's done the same, and Ratcliffe did all his PR work and sold the vision of a new Old Trafford in a new area, and then since then we haven't heard a dicky bird from him. So it's tough. It's tough, but like I said, we spoke. We do communicate with MUST. There'll always be people who are one or the other. And what I don't understand is that we do communicate. It's the same with the TRA. We do communicate, but what we can't do when certain organisations can only do so much because of their involvement, you can't then, I suppose, criticise them for that. They're a foot in the door with the club. We're not, and we don't want to be, because if we were, we wouldn't get away with what we're doing now, would we? So there needs to be a balance between all fragments, if you will. But I totally agree with what you're saying about having an online, a unification online. And personally, I think it's impossible. I don't bother with Twitter. I certainly don't read any comments that are put on the 58 stuff or my stuff. You'd hang yourself. You just think, what's the point? But the majority of it are people. Anybody that shouts and screams about empty Old Trafford, they've never been to Old Trafford, and that that's not being critical of them as a fan. It's being critical of the fact that it's not physically possible. It would never happen. We worked out on average 10% of the match going fan base will get involved in what we do protest wise. So, 5 to 7,000 people. It's not a bad turnout, but there's still 60,000 people or sorry, 50,000, 55,000 people that are not interested and are not getting involved. And, as I said earlier, all we can do is facilitate what we're going to do and get on with it. The time and effort involved in just a protest is frightening, because you've then got press releases, you've then got media, that everybody wants to speak to you, and we all work, we've all got lives. I'm doing this now, I've not eaten yet, and it's, but you do it for the love of the football club.
True.
We don't make any money. We don't, in fact, it costs us money. We've never took a penny off anyone. Everything we do comes out of our own pocket. Whether it's banners, whatever. It's tough, and that I suppose that's your $1 million question. Is this, how do you unify? I would say more your online fan base than your match going fan base, but I don't know that.
That's why I was floating with the idea, that's why I want to sort of gather, a fundraising for you guys as well. The more the merrier. I don't have any problems. I invited. I sent numerous messages to the different channels, say, hey, let's do something, but nobody got back to me. So I know this costs you a lot of money, time, effort. Everyone has the normal day job, but what you do is for pure passion and for the love of the club. So why can't we just, if you're listening, if you are a channel content owner, I don't know who I'm talking to, but reach out and we can establish something at least to keep this, online engagement going. Because for me, we need to come together as one, no matter if it's Must 1958, but you guys, for me, you're the ones that making the hard yards, you know what I mean? So on Sunday I would do the protest watch along, and anyone that wants to join, anyone like Paddock, Goldbridge, whatever, I'm just a small fish, 40,000 subscribers, but anyway, the more the merrier, the bigger splash on the water we can create, the better, I would say, because fans need a collective voice. It's been far too divided, is what we discovered in summary, and I hear a lot of people on Twitter, on Spaces, when I've been in there, well, I don't want to sort of impede myself. You don't have to impede yourself. You can do it peacefully. You can be strategically as well, the way you can do it. If I'm sitting 1,000 miles away from Old Trafford, I cannot be there. At least what we can do is organize some streamlined global protest. That's the way I'm thinking, because we tried it all, right?
Anything's worth a go, isn't it?
Well, United are playing the end of the season in Malaysia. Maybe Mick, somebody could reach out there and do protest over there. Mick,
yeah, definitely.
It's him in the pocket.
You see me in Malaysian. You see me in Malaysian jail.
Probably not a place you want to be.
Maybe you can reach out over them 2 games, mass protests. But unfortunately, it's the attraction of the people who live there. I want to see Man United. It's the aura of seeing United in action. But maybe something can be done over there. Reach out, boycott merchandise, boycott the sponsors who are sponsoring them 2 games.
Yeah,
throw the grenades in and
you'll
walk
be
away with
surprised,
a smile.
Some of our most covered protests have been with the least amount of people involved. As in when we did the kit launch protest, I think there's about 40 of us there, and the megastore got shut down. The coverage that got on the media, and that's what you want to look at, is what grabs the media's attention, because it's the media that then send it worldwide. It's not just it's not just news here or on Twitter or wherever. Then and that went globally, and there was 30 odd of us there with a couple of banners. It doesn't need to be thousands and thousands of people. True.
And that I had a chat with you offline as well the other day, and I said, the the best way is to get involved in tier one media, like, the media outlets to spread it around. Like, Sky Sports is starting to pick it up, like, Carve.
Yep.
Only because it suits their agenda, though, Mick.
Yeah,
I know how Sky works. That's why I don't have Sky anymore. I've seen it over the hedge. There's certain ex-footballers who've got an investment in this for the future development of the region. That's why I don't listen to ex-footballers who are now estate agents, basically, for the future.
Yeah, landowners. Yeah. Compromised. You're talking about G. Neville.
Yeah.
Anyway. We have a honorable, my sidekick is always late. His name is Jarvis. He's all the way from Norway. Norway has a massive fan base as well. Let's add Jarvis to the stage. Big up, Jarvis. Welcome to the stage, my friend.
Big up, everybody. Big up.
Hi, Jarvis.
Big up, Steve. Big up, Andy.
Hey, Jarvis.
Good to see you. Hey. Good to see you. Yeah, it's an interesting debate. I've been listening to you guys. I couldn't come on earlier, Mick, because I was preparing my own stream. I have a stream later tonight, it's an interesting debate, but I feel as an international fan, I've been a couple of times in Manchester and that's it, watching the games, but I really support this the protest. I've been speaking on it in my channel all the time, and every time it comes up, it's about protest, getting your expressions out, the freedom of speech, the right to protest, and to keep it peaceful. So, Steve, I have a question for you. Do you feel now, because a lot of the fan base are angry with Ineos and the Glazers? We are 14th in the league. The results are not going our way. What can you guys do to keep it peaceful for people to meet up? Because there's family men, there's young guys, girls, women, a lot of people want to join, but maybe they are afraid to meet up.
It's a good question. That there's a common misconception of what our protests are like. So the 1958 was born after the European Super League. That was nothing to do with the 1958. And every single protest we've done has been legal and peaceful. There are young kids. There are people from every corner of the world. The women, children. They're peaceful protests. Yes, they're loud. Yes, they're visual. But I think people have this idea that it's like, right, let's go and spend 3 hours in the pub, get tanked up, and then go and create a load of shit. And it couldn't be any further from the truth. They are loud and visual, but that's what they're there to be. So this, if you do watch protests closely, certainly at the front, there'll always be young kids at the front, and Andy. But in general, you've got your kids down at the front, and they're there with the dads. We've had old guys struggling to be on the feet, being helped along by younger guys to keep going. Do you know what I mean? And do you know what? It's actually a thing of beauty to be part of. That solidarity for that moment, for that amount of time that protest is taking place. Everybody that is there for exactly the same reason, with no agenda against anything other than the ownership of the football club. And it is quite special.
You see, we never met each other live, not Jarvis, not Andy, but we met each other online. And I want to play a little bit clip the way I met Jarvis, actually. This is all, everyone comes together for one purpose and reason. I see Jarvis is blushing now, but I want to add this to the stage. This is how first time I met Jarvis. I think it was 2-3 years ago. Hang on. Are you ready for this one?
I get a little bit fired up because I see all the protests. I wish I could be there. If I have lived in Britain, I would have taken the train. Even if I was living up in Glasgow or in Southampton, it doesn't matter, because this is too important. We need to show solidarity and protest, because this is a vital point of our history. If the if the club is sold to the right owner, everything will be okay. But if it's sold to the wrong owner, we will have another 18 years of misery. It's like a marriage. You have to find the right wife. If you make a mistake, you will live in misery for many years. So this is important. This is really important.
Yeah.
And you'll be broke like the Glazers.
That statement resonates me, and that leads me to the next question to you guys. In the current state, we've seen the financials. We know that there's a time frame limit for Ineos with the $33 per share B shares. Do you see, Steve, Andy, Jarvis, do you see a light at the end of the tunnel? Do you see them selling up?
Nah.
No. You know, but what I don't understand, where none of this makes sense to me is, why would somebody invest nearly £1.5 billion into something they don't intend to buy? Or have they just, is this always been a partnership where they're going to make the club into something? Is this a business transaction? Because it's how it feels right now. You know, the way this feels is they're lining this up to turn it into something, maybe build the stadium, get everything in place, and then exit. And the Glazers then exit. And I've always said when we had the great debate of Qatar versus Ineos, and you know that was quite entertaining sometimes. But you know, I was always asked what my preferences were, and I didn't have a preference to either because I wasn't educated enough to know enough about either. All we've ever advocated for, and this has been our mantra from day one, is we've never taken sides, whether it be Ineos or Qatar. We wanted a full sale of the Glazers shares and the Glazers to fuck off. It's as simple as that. And you know, I always said, when people ask me the question, which side are you on, and these debates were going on Spaces for fucking hell, they must have been continuous 24 hours a day and taking it in turns at running a space. But I said, what you're not factoring in here is the pure greed of the Glazers. And I think now that's, unfortunately, I think I've proven myself right a little bit with this, is, you know, is this a strategic plan from the Glazers to drag it out longer, make the club worth more? I mean, you know, they could have exited with fuck knows how much money.
6 billion.
5-6 billion quid. No, if that's not enough, then what is? You know, to me, if they could have sold it, if that figure was 5 billion quid and it's been agreed and these shares have been froze at that cost, which I think was $33 a share. If that's been agreed, why did they not sell? What makes anybody think they're going to sell it come August when they didn't sell it last year? They could have had 5 billion quid in the bank last year, and this year they might get 5 billion quid in the bank. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't. I ain't no financial guru, but it doesn't add up to me.
I will fill you in on that one because it's coming more clear, evidential. Just want to thank Rushmain, a legend of the chat, with your super chat. And basically, you I think you answered the question. Steve, can you see a time where the Glazers actually leave and sell the club? See you on Old Trafford on Sunday. Big up Rushmain as well. Let me put my perspective on it, because for me, it's becoming more evidential. I've been following the takeover. You had a 100% bid in from Sheikh Yassim, you know, the Qataris, to clear the debt, the latest and greatest stadium and everything. And that was what everyone wanted, right? Incomes. I remember Ratcliffe was bidding 61%, and all of a sudden, you know, there was a report from everyone saying that his bid is dead out of the water. And he comes in when 27% bid was accepted. And for me, it's clear and evidential now when they're talking about the project regeneration. He must have figured out that, you know, the land bank assets, which is owned by Manchester United PLC, who owns Manchester United PLC, is the Glazers. And now you're seeing them talking about these land bank assets. That is billions. And the stadium generation, what they did with the Tampa Bay as well, they didn't put out any money. And what I talked about, the recruitment of the best-in-class people over the summer, the footballing operations, was pretty much recruiting the best-in-class people and doing what? Jean-Claude Blanc, what did he do at Juventus? Juventus got relegated. He managed to build a stadium from sponsorship, right? You have the bridge of the academy, which is Wilcox, basically looking at the fish farming, like, to sell young academy players for pure profit, FFP. It's been clear and evidential that they structure the Ocean's 11, if you might say so, right? The continuous, but the long-term game is the overall, the assets, the land bank assets, and the stadium build, which they're not going to put in one single penny of their own, which is going to be sponsored. But now we're seeing that that's not going to happen for another 8-10 years. So the question is, if I'm looking at the finances at the moment, guys, if I look at the finances, the way we're cost-cutting, the way we are moving, the way we potentially don't know where the recruitment strategy is, like, we're not going to be challenging with kids. That's no way we can do that. 2028, yeah. So my vision is just they came in and saw, like, well, this is a bigger mess than it is, right? In 1 year, they've been trying to do everything, a full cultural rebuild. It's not going to work, and the fans are paying for it. So if they're ever going to sell up, well, they're going to look themselves in the mirror to say, well, we can do an exit here and sell it for the minimum what's been said in the contract of $33 per share, because let's face it, Ineos are bleeding, and the protest is now on Ineos as well, because they've never been part of the protest before, but that's going to hurt their brand as well, which they don't like, Steve. You know what I mean? And their business as well. So the louder we get, the more it's going to hurt Ineos' pocket and their, commercial value around Ineos itself, because Glazers don't give a fuck, right? All they want is to sort of hang around, cash in. So potentially I can see either a full wholesale takeover that Ineos sells everything they have, Nice, everything else, and pump in money and buy the remaining of the Class B shares if it becomes open. Or
but I mean, with that, Mick, what's Nice worth?
I fucking know. I don't know.
My point being, it ain't worth billions, is it? He's not.
No.
If he sold every sporting project he's got now, it's probably worth 10% of what it would cost him to buy Man United. Now, fair enough, the running side of the business, and he could do what he's very good at, which is laying off all his staff. But the as far as raising the funds goes, selling Nice ain't going to. It's a splash in the ocean compared to what we're talking about buying Man United.
There's more to it than this. There's the land around Carrington as well, and if you drag it into an equation, there's land there Ineos can exploit and get. Well, it's nothing to do with me, but fracking and all that.
Yeah, I mentioned PDL 192.
There's more to Ineos. They're adding something, obviously, and they're up to something, but we'll never find it out.
We never find out, and keep it silent. Like land, according to Rushman, land around Old Trafford is worth much more with the planning permissions. The great
same around Carrington.
Yeah, same around Carrington. I covered this as well. Like, Ineos own the fracking rights under Old Trafford, which is called PDL 192. Just look it up. Just Google it, and you will see. They still hold the license. That's why they're talking about knocking down and move it. What is it to say that they spoke to Glazers about this to say, hey, you cut us in the land assets deal, and we, eventually we have this crisis, what we have right now, escalation, no gas, no, the global crisis. I'm just speculating, guys. But anyway, I forgot to say massive shout out for everyone in the VER room, everyone that's tuning in on Twitter, X, on YouTube. Guys, I forgot to say, please do not forget to smash the like button. Go follow Steve. Everything 1958, everything that you can see how to follow them, it's in the description box in the video description. So go, the links are all there, guys. So anyway, in summary, guys.
Okay, I have a couple of questions for Steve, because it's good to have you here, and the 1958s have a large impact on the fan base, and you reach out to people, and for me, I think you are the only fan group that actually are doing something, and I respect that. But how do you see this playing itself out in the future now? Because there will be a protest on Sunday, yes, but how do you think it will be for the rest of the season? We might be out of the Europa League. There will be breaking news about the new prices for tickets. People will feel left out. And anger will rise even more, I believe, coming to the end of the season. So have you planned anything else?
There is a Manchester derby on the horizon. If that is cancelled, wow, that would send a statement. It's just, how do you do it? Peacefully and legally.
Peacefully, yeah.
It's I mean, what you've got to. So we're a small bunch of lads that, you know, a protest takes weeks and weeks of planning. And, you know, the police have to be involved because obviously they're part of the march with us. So, you know, there's a lot of work involved. Then when it's announced, and then the media are all over everything, and, you know, stuff like this, we understand that, you know, the importance of doing stuff like this, as with any mainstream media, if you will. So sort of, you know, the national newspapers, national radio stations, etc. It takes some doing, and what you can't do is you can't plan a protest based on what you think might happen. So this is why stuff tends to be not spur of the moment, but a little bit more nearer the time, if you will. You know, if for example, if we'd have decided with all the speculation around the takeover that, I don't know, hypothetically, we don't want a Qatar ownership. So then we set up a protest for that. Oh, look, well, Qatar's not bought it anyway. You know, do you see my point? So what you can't do is you can't really set a roadmap and a plan based on speculation, because half of what you plan would never be put into fruition, and, you know, a percentage of what you actually do, you'd look at it because you're doing it for the wrong reason. So you've got to be careful with that. And I think going back here, that just listening to yourself then, Mick, about these theories, and, you know, this is where the problem lies. If Radcliffe had come out now, it's surely to God they understand, Ineos understand now, the bad feeling in the fan base. If Ineos come out, or the Glazers, or fucking whoever, you know, one or the other or both, if they come out and say, right, do you know what? This is our roadmap over the next 5 years. This is what we're going to do, and this is why we're making the cuts in jobs. This is why potentially tickets are going to have to go up. A means to an end at the minute. What we're doing is sitting on stuff like this, speculating, because there is nothing from anyone in the club, and this for me is where the problem lies.
Exactly my spot on, and this is why if you back the tape, this says there's no communication coming out from whatsoever from the club. At least we are the product, we are the consumers of the game, we are your customers, right? If you're Coca-Cola, the brand, at least you will announce the latest update of what's going on, at least, so you know, you keep coming and buy in, you know what I mean? But right now we don't have a buy-in, we have a buyout. You know, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. So if they had an open-ended communication, if they just appointed a PR spokesperson to speak to the fans instead of utilizing the manager or the gaffer or, you know, the head coach, that'd be so much better. But they're hiding, and it's the same thing what they did under the Glazers, the Woodward regime as well. That's the problem.
It's very unfair to use Rubin as a shield. They did it. Ollie was the same as well, and the only person who spoke out was Ralph Radnick. And it's just the way they hide behind the shields. And the little, you know, they'll pop their heads up every now and again and pop their heads back down. And to use the manager who we're all behind and who's a focal point, and we need to manipulate him, use him, without actually, to my opinion, he knows he's being used, but he's in a situation that is untenable. So,
well, I don't know. I don't remember who I had a discussion with, but somebody mentioned something really important. It's like maybe they are just setting this as a ground zero just to make it lean machine and then go forward. Like, they have this long-term strategical vision plan. They're treating the club like a business, not a footballing club. You know what I mean? I've never seen any Premier League club going through a downsize like we're doing right now. But there's got to be, if we're going to talk about it, like, and of course they've been overinflated in, going for the shirt sellers, splashing silly money, having stupid people that don't understand football, Murto and all them. You know what I mean? And Steve, you were in the pub meeting as well with the Richard Arnold. We said, well, we spent 1 billion and nothing to show for. In order to build the latest and greatest stadium, we need to have sponsors. That's why they went for the strategic review. And here we are, right? So with no communication whatsoever.
And again, that we're surmising that what Amarin's saying is being told to say. Everything is just, football fans are fickle. Do you know what I mean? And I think this is where social media can be damaging, because on social media, 2 and 2 equals yellow. There's no logical sense in stuff, but it's dangerous as well, because what happens is you can get somebody that's they don't even necessarily have to be quite influential, but if somebody comes up with a theory, and then a few people go, do you know what? I like that theory. It suits my agenda. I'm going to run with that theory. Before you know it, that theory's become the truth. And this is, it's so dangerous. But this is, again, it comes back to the club not communicating with anyone. It's absolute suicide what they're doing. It's crazy.
Well, ironically, the way I see it, the way I interpret it is that, if you look at Ineos and Glazers at the moment, they're focusing more on the sponsorship. They appointed a new guy. I can't remember what his name. I didn't follow. He was some master guru in commercial. And I see them trying to stabilizing the finances aspect by, doing the cost cutting. I do understand. Everyone that's in business do understand. But they forget the most important thing, the consumers, like us fans, right? That drives the match revenue. And if you're not having a competitive squad, which is the product, in my opinion, the squad is the product. That's what we're coming to see, right? And if you don't entertain, you're losing out on the consumers. Consumers going to go abandoned. They're not going to go and watch this shit, So, and that's why I say we got to keep reminding us that we are not a business. We are a club, a footballing club. You know what I mean? And the statement yesterday that sent a little bit shockwaves that Ruben Amorim spoke again, it's been compromised. Having an interview to say we are on winning Europa League is not of importance. That's pure Glazenomics. That is pure Glazenomics. There's Ineos propaganda. Fact is, despite losing out on revenues, and this is what hit me. Yeah, this is what hit me. If they don't make European football next year, guess what happened to the most of the players' contract and the wages?
Reduced. Cost cutting. Yeah. So that hit me
as well. Gone down, take a hit, restructure contracts with Adidas, sponsorship as well. So yeah, everything gets everything gets redone.
Yeah. So speaking about the game tomorrow, it feels a little bit like either make it or break it. That's the thing. And at the end of the day, how do we summarize this?
Mick, we have a lot of questions coming in from the chat. I don't know if you want to go through any of them, because I see.
Yeah, guys, if you do, we're gonna wrap up.
Questions.
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna wrap this up. So if you do have any questions, this is coming to the Q&A section. I guess everyone wants to go and watch the Champions League soon. Come in with your questions, people. Just put a question. If you have any solution rather than the problem, suggest as well, because that's what we're here for, coming together. So let's go to the Q&A and let me play the jingle, and you, Jarvis, can load it up.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Jonathan.
People drinking.
You want the truth? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. That's what it feels like to say. Steve.
Yeah, I see that most of these questions are directed to Steve, but I think we can just give them to Steve and go around the panel. So the first question up is from Carlos coming in and say, do you think that they go if we get dropped down to the championship?
I think potentially the banks would own the football club if we went down to the championship. But I honestly don't believe financially that at the minute the club is walking a financial tightrope, and I honestly believe that they'd fall off that tightrope if we went down to the championship. I think we're close. I think we're going to be, just shy of 500 job redundancies is, to me, it's a worry. It's an absolute worry, the state that we're in financially. And I think, we're going to be extremely close if we don't get any European football next year. And it's a tall
I'd even say Europa Conference. I'd say that if you could squeeze 7th place.
Yeah, well,
even 8th place, going on what happens with upstairs. Team in the top 4 wins the FA Cup, Forest, City. That place drops down, and it drops down even more. Oh, Newcastle League Cup. We need snookers to get in Europe unless we can win the Europa League.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, I see people saying Rob Taft comes in and say thank you, Steve, and the work you're doing. And Jamie Wayne say we lose 80 million if we go into out of Europe, so we will lose a lot of money. And Rushmano comes in and he says we're getting relegated will put us into administration. So yeah, I think our finances are really bad. The next question is coming up is from Rushmano again. It comes in and says, Steve, is there a potential to walk out after a certain time of period, or is that just not an option to have a walkout?
It's not an option this weekend. To be honest, this is more for us because we haven't done anything for a while. It's a barometer for really. The appetite for protesting.
Test the waters.
It would seem that the appetite's there.
Would it be considered? Would you consider it though and put it out there?
Not for Sunday, it's too late. But
no, I know, not for Sunday.
Future, yeah. I mean, nothing's off the table.
Games between now and the end
nothing's
of the
off the table. The trouble is I think the best one we did visually was the sitting. But again,
Yeah, I remember it.
But it looked good. But as I was saying before Jarvis was here, in general, we do well to get 10% of our match-going fan base involved in any form of protesting. So it's not just about educating people that don't come to games. It's how do you educate people that do go to games?
But don't you think the moment is now, because it's never been as big? Now we have momentum.
You would think so.
Even Goldbridge coming out and kind of protesting against both Ineos and the Glazers. So I feel that it's out there. All the fans.
I think that it's a different ball game, and I agree what Steve's saying is testing the Richter scale, the barometer, because before it was only Glazers, but now we also, what I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, is also involvement of Ineos and their brand. So this is going to hurt Ineos and their brand and their business as well. So mindfully, it's a great to test the waters a bit, and then increase the volume.
If anything, if there's an appetite for it, and we think the problem is with Old Trafford, if 5,000 people left the stadium from different areas, you'd never notice. You wouldn't see it. Visually, it'd have no impact whatsoever. So, it needs to be big numbers. Sitting afterwards, you don't need the same amount of numbers for it to be as visually impactful. So, maybe that's something, and it's something we've talked about, but, there's no option off the table. It's, will people get involved? And the nice thing for us now is that we've got, the 1958.org is where you can sign up to. It's a free membership, and we've got over 80,000 members on there now, and a large majority of them are season ticket holders and match going fans. Now, we didn't have this before when we was protesting, and it's one of the reasons we set it up. But what we can do with that is we can survey our own members, which that gives us a good indication. Would you be involved in a sitting? Yes or no? And do you know what I mean? If 20,000 people are coming back saying yes, we will. It's not to say they all will, but it gives you a tester and a feeler for where people are at. And as I said earlier, I've said it a couple of times. We can only organise and facilitate. We can't force people to protest. And whatever guise that protest takes, it still needs people to be willing to get involved.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm just going to go what Lee Smith was saying. Glazers are in America. They don't care about the protest. But here's the continuous what I'm thinking, because the fan base in US is constantly growing. Where are we going on the pre-season tour? We're going back to America again. So this is a golden opportunity to engage that fan base and protest and make it more visual. Yeah. Where's the Glazers headquarters? Yeah.
Which, as I said earlier, again, I don't think Jarvis was here, but that is, we've already opened conversations with some supporters clubs over in America.
Yeah, get the alligator as well.
The alligator
and aim it at a certain
John
house in
Cena
Florida.
coming in.
Yeah,
smashing it up.
Big alligator and leave it at a house in Florida. Leave the door open.
Next question comes from Welsh Girl 68. How can we watch the protest? The mainstream won't show it. That's a big thing. Jarvis, in our tradition, what do we do?
Yeah, well, we try to get people on the ground to send us footage. That's the only way.
Or send them the link to show us live. What we always do. We encourage people to join our forces. If you are a fellow channel content creator next door to us, Alice, J. Marty, Goldbridge, if you want to sort of do it, let's do it together. Let's do a what we call it, protest watch along, and we can send out the link to people to call in and show it. The more the merrier. Because the mainstream media will not cover it.
No. But is this something that the 58s are working on, how to spread the word out there? Because the protest can happen, but it's no one's watching. It didn't happen in a way. So that will be a very important part of all of this.
I'm pretty sure it'll be broadcast live on social media. People will latch onto it. It'll be all across the
mainstream media. The mainstream media, certainly this time round. I mean, previously for myself, I kind of, it's my role, if you will, to deal with the media, and send out press releases and things. And previously, we found that we were chasing people. Are you going to run this story? Are you going to And it's the other way around. We're getting chased for stories. So there's definitely an appetite within the media. And I think there has been, even, going back to the FSA protest, the Football Supporters Association, which we've been involved with, that the Everton protest was against, rising in ticket prices across football in general. And, since we've been part of that, we was asked to get involved with that, which we was happy to do so. It's, I think the media's picked up on that story. I mean, I've get asked on a weekly basis, any updates? Is anything happening? Is anything going on? Which never really happened before. So there seems to be a big appetite from the media. So again, there's kind of a few barometers here, if you will, which is, how much do the media want this? How hungry are the media, and more importantly, how hungry is the fan base? But
Well,
I do like the idea of.
Well, the media is always looking for a scoop when it comes to Manchester United. You
Of
just
course.
mentioned Manchester United protest, boom, right? It's the hip thing to do. There's
But I
people
see
just
a lot
want
of-
to, just what Jarvis just looking at the stream health. There's 634 continuously watching us live right now, and only 82 likes. This is free content. Steve, you working tirelessly with 1958 doing this for free. We working on this content for free. If guys, the revenue here, don't be like a greedy glazer. Smash the like button right now. Promote. The more the like button works, the algorithm, the more this video will come out to the remaining of the global fan base. Please, that's how it works.
Yeah, I was just going to say, people smash the like, and Steve, certain journalists, I know Henry Winter have written some stories about it. Are there other like big journalists that you know of that people can follow to help them and support them in this?
James Ducker,
James Ducker,
Chris
yeah.
Wheeler. They're constantly sort of badgering for, or certainly getting the heads up when something is happening. There's plenty out there. I mean, it's quite odd, really. Sometimes, a certain newspaper will go absolutely mad on something and go mad on. I mean, when we went over, when we was involved in the Stop Exploiting Loyalty campaign, and we went over to Anfield, and we met up with the journalist there, and I did a piece. I was actually over in Spain at my father's, and I'd done this piece with Gareth from the Spirit of Shankly, and it was like a joint questionnaire. And when it came, I was quite shocked when it came out. It was actually of the sports section in the Telegraph. It was a double-page centre spread. But that's impactful in a newspaper. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't read newspapers anymore, do they? So I mean, it was still published, but I don't think there's. I mean, crikey, if somebody turned around to me now and said, "Oh, what's this protest all about? I haven't heard of it," I think they just turned up from a different planet, because there's not a media outlet. It's all over social media. Everybody's covering it, and let's just see how well it's covered. I know Jay's. I was with Jay last night, and I know Jay's going to be at the protest. How much they Jay's a match going fan anyway, but I think we're going to try and do some sort of interview. It's difficult when you're trying to potentially guide a good few thousand people somewhere. It's not always ideal to stop everybody just to have a chit chat with someone. Do you know what I mean? But Jay's been massively big on supporting us, and it's why we've always been quite keen to give Jay anything that we get up first. It's that loyalty. You pay it back, don't you? And so I mean, I think there's certainly going to be massive media attention on Sunday, massive, and there's definitely going to be a turnout. What that turnout's like, you just never know. You never know. But if it ain't a massive turnout with the state of things now, then you kind of start wondering, what's he going to take?
Yeah.
Is Andy Mitten picked up on this?
Yes,
Andy Mitten, yeah, forgot about him.
Andy's been quite quiet. I know Andy very well, but he has been pretty quiet on this. I'm not quite sure why. He said he'd mentioned it on his podcast, but it's had a mention. There's certainly been no reporting from it. We've recently got a good relationship going with The Athletic as well. That's somebody that's jumped on, and it's part of what I do, is building these relationships up with these with these guys or girls. I mean, today just alone we've had, whilst dealing with TalkSport, whilst dealing with other media outlets. We've got stuff coming in through the website. As I said, these guys over in Asia, I'm so embarrassed that I can't remember the name of the channel. They've reached out. They want to do something. We've had the BBC. They want to run something on a football show. I don't know. I've not got it in front of me. So
maybe
you know,
Astro in Asia, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, again, you know, we won't turn down any media opportunity. Why would we? Do you know what I mean?
But somebody mentioned earlier in the chat Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly loves getting involved with United with his
tweets,
transfers.
But when it comes to the other things, no.
We could get a here we go from Fabrizio.
Yeah, here we go. Protest happening right now.
Protest in progress. Here we go. Yeah, I have a question here. We can go to, maybe we can do, Andy, you are a match-going fan. So it's a question from Rushmano. Is handing out leaflets about the club's finances worth a shout at every game? Do you think someone would do that job or hand out leaflets?
It depends, innit? If the match-going fans take hold of him, they'll just look at him, discard them. But every little helps. If it's the individual that helps it and they believe they're contributing, yeah, do it. If you feel like you're doing something right and you're helping the 58, go for it. But yeah, there's a lot of things going out there now. I think most of the fan base is wise to it. You just have to exploit that day fan, that day tripper, the once in a lifetime opportunity. They've got to know it. You know what I mean? You know, it's like it'd be great if nobody turned up on one day at Old Trafford. Like you say, for every fan will walk away, there's somebody ready to replace you, and that's unfortunate. If everybody united for one game, whatever game it is at Old Trafford, wow! Honestly, they won't. They don't sell match tickets. The mega stores empty, corporate all done. I mean, if people in the stadium stop buying the food, the beverages, I don't buy stuff there anymore.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I buy outside from the local stuff, the local traders. Do you know what I mean? Like if you want a burger from the burger van, but I buy nothing now in the stadium. But there's fans there still buying pies, burgers, beers. You know what I mean? Just don't buy them.
Yeah. We have a solution coming from one Don MUFC 45. Big up for you coming in with the solution. We need to protest every day, every match, non-stop, and collaborate with the YouTube. We all are United fans and supporters. Yeah, that's a good. I like the constructive ideas rather than, you know, I'm not a problem guy. I'm a solution-driven guy, so I like these kind of things. 100%. You know.
Mick, I have a question for Steve. I just want to know, because I've been talking a lot with a lot of United fans while I'm doing streams and show, and especially after the show when I sit down and talk to a lot of these guys. And some of them mentioned, could there be a possibility for like civil disobedience, like sit downs and stuff like that? Now, is that an option, or is it just to protest and keep it peaceful?
I'm never going to ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do. And, you know, I mean, as far as sit down goes, that's quite ironic because the stewarding at Old Trafford at the minute is hell bent on making sure everybody else sat down. It's fucking unbelievable.
Nobody is standing down.
So
Nobody sat down where I am.
The club's actually instigating that protest itself. But it's, I mean, anything, you know, if you go into our, I mentioned it earlier, the 1958.org, there is a suggestions section there. And, you know, as daft as you might think something is, just chuck it in there. Just chuck it in there, because you just never know. You know, some stuff we've done have not stemmed from our own ideas. Do you know what I mean? We're not protest gurus. We're match-going fans that are passionate about saving our football club and saving it for future generations. And you know, we do rely on fans not only match-going fans to help with the protest, online fans to help. I mean, to me, you can leave the match-going fans to us, but it's the likes of you guys that can try and create this unity. You know, I don't have a channel. I certainly ain't got time for any of that. I struggle to find time just to, you know, do stuff like this and promote what we're doing. But it's, you know, that unity online. There'll always be the naysayers, but that's just life, isn't it? You know, I mean, I think for me, the probably the most amusing one is the empty Old Trafford for 5 games because financially it'll ruin the Glazers. Well, to empty the ground, you've got to have bought the ticket. So just, you know, just sometimes think it doesn't, you know, some of the stuff that comes out is just borderline crazy. But, and I get it probably for a lot of people, it's a frustration. There's probably people out there that like doing it for attention, but, you know, again, it's not necessarily just Man United or the 58 or protests. There are people like that on social media, full stop. But I think if there's an online community that, you know, I will happily get involved in when I can, and I'm sure other lads within the group would get involved when we can. But, you know, I think that online community needs to take that responsibility on themselves and come together. You know, we'll speak and have conversations with anybody about anything, but what we can't do is say, right, you, Mick, you now need to, you're in charge of getting the whole online fan base sorted out. So you crack on, I'm off. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work like that, does it? So you've got to be sensible, but I just think that there is an opportunity for the whole protesting, and I use that term quite loosely, not just at Old Trafford, but for it to be more globally recognised and more globally participated as well. So the opportunities there.
Do you think they need a spokesperson like David Beckham? You know, when he took on the green and gold scarf, or even Sir Alex could have turned everything around. You know, just saying the words.
Yeah, I mean, believe me, you can name. We have contacted everybody, or attempted to, that's affiliated with the club, and unfortunately, because they are affiliated with the club, they won't say anything. I actually went to his shirt's behind me. It was an evening with Man Utd, and you know, we was doing the meet and greet and yada yada yada, and it quite jokingly said, you know, when we have a picture, will you say Glazers out? And absolutely no, petrified of it. Actually, it was like, you know, it's just that the club seem to have this hold across people, that I don't know. I don't know what it is.
You reckon they've been compromised? They're getting paid for being silent?
I mean, a lot of the people, a lot of ex-players do still work for the club, or did. Don't know if they're on the redundancy list, but you know, a lot of ex-players work for the club still, and obviously, you know, it's the livelihood. But you know, just to come out, but then, you know, that could be a campaign that started online by maybe you guys or something, where, you know, start contacting anybody of any profile that's a Man United fan, whether they're, you know, famous for whatever, and would they even give us just a quote? Just give us a quote, a 30-second video quote. It's all you're asking, isn't it? But, you know, and maybe that, you know, trying to get older people like that is far easier online than it is any other way, isn't it? So, you know, maybe that's something that the online community could look at and say, you know, and if somebody does get a bite from whoever it may be, then, you know, my DMs are open on Twitter. They're not closed. So anybody, whether we follow each other or not, you send me a DM. I will get back to you. That's a promise. When I won't make that promise, but I will come back to somebody, or you can do it through the website. So, you know, there's many ways you can get hold of us. And if you've got somebody that's willing to do that, then get in touch and we'll get it sorted.
I will definitely pin after the stream. I will make a comment and then I'll pin that in the comment section how to sort of contact 1958 and yourself as well to reach out on Twitter and all that. And by the way, the socials is all already in the comment section box in this video as well, description. 100%. There was a question, by the way. Jarvis, go ahead. I just want to share the screen because I'm conscious about time. So I just want to put this up, because there was a question, how do we get involved? I'm just going to add this to the stage. Basically, this is coming out from you guys, 1958. How to get involved is to meet at the Tollgate 3 p.m., 9th of March. Bring the heat, bring the noise, bring the passion. Tollgate 3 p.m. Then we march 3:15 from behind the large banner. So we start at Tollgate, head down to Talbot Road, onto Warwick Road, and then into Sir Matt Busby Way, then into Trinity before heading down to Munich Tunnel. More details released through the week. Your debt is not ours. So that's how you can sort of get involved as well. And also, this information is also pinned in the video description box here as well. Anyway, that's all I want to sort of bring to you guys' attention that was asking as well. Jarvis, you had something?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of we have 20 memberships gifted from Jonathan Liljenberg. So thank you, everybody. It's fantastic. Thank you, Jonathan, for
massive
gifting memberships to people.
No, he's been member for 20 months, not gifted 20. Put your rigor. You're getting old, man.
What do you say? Members for 20 months. Big up, Jonathan.
Seriously. Well, yeah, but he gifted 5 memberships. Now he comes in.
No, it's 5. Oh, man.
Yes, a big up. So thank you, Jonathan, all the way from Sweden.
You stay off that herbal tea, that Jarvis.
Yeah,
I know. I'm terrible.
Just want to welcome.
Whatever's in it, you got to stop drinking it, man. Could turn a guy's eyesight just like that.
Massive shout out for Jonathan, and Rashmana comes in and also gifted 20 memberships. So now we have a lot of reading to do. But anyway, Viking Red was gifted membership. Veron Viana, Jiman Zook. Let's see, Mark Harris. We got a lot of people. Anyway, do we have press for time?
I don't think we have time to read out everyone.
Shout out everyone, but just a
lot of legends.
A lot of legends. So anyway, massive thanks to Rashmane and Jonathan Liljenberg as well. Guys, I'm a little bit pressed for time. I know everyone wants to watch what's going on with the PSG game here. Liverpool Scousers up. Yeah.
Barcelona's playing.
We have Svein Falk Lawrenson, probably from any plans to go after the sponsors by sending emails and other stuff? Us who are not in Manchester need something to do. Yeah, get involved, please.
Go for it.
Beats watching the football, doesn't it?
On your hands, send a few emails and do a free protest. Go for it.
We've done that quite successfully in the past, where we've literally set up an email template. You just copy, paste, click. It's literally done for you. We have done that. We have done that in the past, but it's probably something again, that we'll look to in the not too distant future. So it's a good point raised, and yes, we'll more than likely do that.
Yeah. Excellent. There's over 800 people watching, 95 likes, 5 more from the magic number. Can we get more likes? More likes?
We can have one last question from Rashmana. We said, what about advertising screen on the side of truck, like a big screen outside Old Trafford, rolling info all the time?
This Rashmana guy's pretty on the ball, isn't he? Third place.
Yeah.
But he is. I'm starting to think this is a mole from the 1958, and he's.
That's why you back it.
But it's something that these things of these digital on the back of a sort of a low loader truck. The things that now are starting to appear around football grounds, advertising, whatever it can be. And again, it's something that we are looking at. More importantly, what we're doing is
playing with a banner for future games.
Yeah, you've got that, but the cost of doing that for the impact of it is you know, it's though 1 second gone another. You could probably spend half that on one of these advertising vans, and it sits outside Old Trafford for a substantial amount of time. But again, you know, we've never asked fans for money, and nor would we do. And we just need to work out stuff like this logistically. How do we go about it, and financially, how do we go about it? The things that we're looking into, 100%.
And that kind of floats my idea. I've been mentioning it 2 times already. Like, you know, we can definitely set up, like, you know, through streaming here, like fundraising. People can donate in 1958. You know, Paddock can do it. Everyone can do it. Like, you know, because guys, you pro bono, you work for nothing. You work, you know, you have your day jobs as well. And these things cost money. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Or if you can set something up on your website as well, like, you know, to donate, buy me a coffee or whatever, you know.
That's something that we'd need a discussion about, but I don't quite know the legalities of all that and how it would work. So we'll and there's again, there'll always be the doubters of where's all that money gone, what they're doing with it. But we've seen other fan bases. I mean, Everton, they raised something like 40 grand just through GoFundMe's for banners, etc. And you know, it's doable, but again, you know, it's do then. The problem you've got is you're running into the realms of it being a full-time job for somebody to manage that, and I'm not. You won't be paying.
Oops, the Glazers cut him off. No way, he'd be back anyway.
He's back.
What happened? He's back. So Rushman is saying, Steve, I've spoken to you before. He knows, you know who he is, but you don't. Rushman is a code name. See, we'll talk to you on Sunday.
Well, good man anyway. And then, yes, I'll see you Sunday. Yeah, say hi.
Yeah, in terms of legality of doing fundraising for you guys, you've got to work something out, right? You know, there's plenty of ways you can do it. You have this buy me a coffee thing. You have the PayPal and all that stuff, right? You can do.
Yeah, and good luck, Steve, with the that Asian thing as well.
Yeah, as well.
With that channel, you find it out, spread the word, maybe disrupt the Malaysian tour. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'll what I will do is I think the plan is to potentially try and speak to them. But the problem with sort of the people in America and obviously with Asia is the timing differences. It from one email to the next, a day's gone. Do you know what I mean? So it's not something that sort of happens instantly. But yeah, I mean, it's nice that people are reaching out, and in general, these messages are, how can we help? So you know, it's great that fan clubs around the world are actively wanting to be involved, and long may it continue.
Yeah. Listen, I am a little bit conscious about time. We've gone 1 hour and 37. I don't want to turn into Martin Scorsese. There's so much to talk about. Just want to thank everyone that's tuned in. 828 constantly live watching Steve and Andy and Jarvis. And we are 3 likes away from 100, the magic number. You know what I mean? Listen, I just want to, you know, thank you for everything that you do, 1958. And in my opinion, you're the only one that take action. And that's why we're talking about doing some fundraising. You know, we are definitely going to cover this live on Sunday. I can reach out to you personally as well, how we can do it. Send out some links so people call in, like, you know, to show, like, you know, live. And the more the merrier, like, you know, and then it's up to other channels. Like, if you know other channels we can speak to, I know it's a short notice, but if we can sort of do a collaboration stream, people can co-stream to their channel. Doesn't need to be on this platform particularly, but we're willing to host it, you know, and people can co-stream.
Perfect.
Yeah, so, and I want to apologize to everybody for we couldn't get through all of your questions, but it was great to see all the involvement from people, and I see a lot of you guys coming in here with Green and Gold and Glazers Out and all of this, and I think it's important. I mean, we should never stop leaving and never stop the fight. You know, it's one we have to take for the future of our club.
I'm just going to round up with, I digged out an old clip that I did. And if you don't mind, I want to finish off with this one. Guys, stick around, okay? This is all about unity at the end of the day, to summarize things. Let's go.
Join me now, brothers. Let's unite this.
I think all football fans should unite.
100%. And I also think that all the YouTube content creators should unite and do the same.
Dangerous for English football. We must not forget that.
Glazers out.
They tried to walk away and create a closed shop.
Join me now, brothers.
Would have basically
Let's
created
unite this fight.
a famine in this country.
For 18 years, United fans has been protesting against the Glazers. We're not going away until we're sold. We won't be ignored. We won't go away. This is just the beginning. This is just the start. Green and gold until we're sold. We are united all over the world. This is how we will play.
Ownership. You get a few idiots. I'm going back further since when I was a kid.
18 years we had it rough. Glazers, we had enough. Fucking hell.
Partly because people who are classed as fit and proper persons are allowed to take over football clubs. I don't believe that they are.
You won't have that.
Ah, fuck that shit.
We want face out, say we want face out. We want face out, say we want face out.
So guys, I want to thank you all. Right? This is what we're going to do Sunday. We'll be here for you guys. Call-in show as per usual. Going to send out the links if people want to call. I want to thank you, 1958 Steve. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah, definitely.
People all around the world that's tuning in. I mean, this gives me shivers to my spine. You guys are my family, my extended family. You know that football hasn't been great. We've been having the worst season ever, but we need to stick together. And with that notion, I want to thank you all. 100 likes achieved. Big up, thank you. And we have a game of football to play tomorrow. Let's round it up. What do you think, Steve? Real Sociedad?
I don't know. I don't know from one game to the next. You know, I think last year we was inconsistent, and you could say, you know, they might turn up, it might be a good game, then it's a shit game, or we probably get battered and then we end up with a good result. And sadly this year we've been consistent, I'll put it that way. It's just badly consistent, so no idea, but we all live in hope, as we always do. And
copium.
Hope and wine, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, we'll be there cheering them on, and then sadly I'm not going, but we'll be there at Old Trafford for the return.
Yeah. Any particular score prediction, or you don't want to jinx it?
I'd take a draw. I would take a draw. Absolutely. The way things are at the minute, I would 100% take a draw.
How about you, Andy?
Well, they got spanked over the weekend by Barcelona. So that's what my dad told me. And
4-0.
4-0. And he lost the Copa del Rey first leg to Real Madrid. So you would think we are the superior team. We can do it because we won't beat in Europe, but you can't expect anything anymore. So keep it tight, nick a goal, just take them back to Old Trafford. We are a moment team, and maybe just one moment will get us a result and take it back to Old Trafford.
Yeah. Jarvis, team news, Ugarte had a knock. Collie is back in.
Yeah,
no Maguire.
We will struggle. We have basically no men left. We have kids, so a lot of kids in the traveling squad. So it will be interesting.
But that could be good. More intensity.
Yeah.
Arsenal worries me Sunday. God knows after last night. I know Robbie from AFTV, and I messaged him. We're going to get rinsed. No, the result's irrelevant to me Sunday, but we're going to get rinsed Sunday.
Okay, Steve, better stop the match.
No pressure.
All right, guys. I'm not going to do any score prediction, but we're unbeaten in the Europa League so far. I would say that I take a draw. Go down there, eat some paella. The match-going fans, the traveling fans, big up to all of you. Go cheer the boys out because we need a result, and then at the home run, you guys will be there. But Dog is back as well. Yeah, let's bring it home, guys, because apparently we need this win. To round this up, just wanted to say thank you, Steve. Thank you, Andy, for coming together. Jarvis, the legends here. Rush Maynor for gifting 20 memberships. Jonathan Liljeberg for 5 memberships, and super chat also from Rush Maynor. And thank you guys for sticking with us for this stream. 1 hour and 45 minutes and almost 900 watching all the time. It means a world for us, and the message we want to spread across. Steve, any final words regarding the protest?
Turn up, make your voices heard. You know, let that anger out on the day, and it's hard work. It's hard work getting to this point. From our point of view, there's a lot of work and time goes into it, and you know, you just hope and pray that people are as passionate and give a shit as much as we do, and you know, turn up at the toll gate 3 o'clock, and let's all march in solidarity, and let the Glazers and Ineos and whoever else needs to hear it know what we feel.
Yeah. That's words of wisdom, and we take that to the bank, people. If you want to follow Steve 1958, I will pin that comment in the non-live comment section afterwards. Go follow, go support. Thank you for tuning in, people. Thank you for staying united. And with that notion, thank you. Glory, glory, Man United. Remember, Glazers out, Bankers out, Ineos out. We are green and gold until we're sold. Thank you, beautiful people, and it's time to say goodbye. Go watch some Champions League, by the way. See us. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.